सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। We are presently seeing certain meditation verses in this āTMABODHA, which has 68 verses in all and is generally believed to be written by Sri Adi Shankaracharya. We have covered up to the 34th verse, and in this session now, which is the 14th class in this series on āTMABODHA, we take up verse 35. Let me read verse 35. Most of you have the soft copy or the hard copy of the book of āTMABODHA, and please go to verse number 35. Ahamakashavat sarvam bahirantargatochyutah tada sarvasamachyuddho nissango nirmalo chalaha. Aham akashavat sarvam. I am like space. I am like the sky. I am everything. Without proper guidance, without competent teaching, someone may get very puzzled. Someone may say, I have financial problems, I have relationship problems, I have health problems. I lost a job and I'm looking for a new job. And what is this Vedanta telling me? I am like space. Everywhere, everything is me. Therefore, if even some long-time students of Vedanta get a little jittery at times, I would not be surprised. That only shows, number one, need for competent guidance. Number two, need for certain mental purification in the student herself or himself. Vedanta is not on the same level where the problem is. It is on a higher level, where, as Pujya Swami Chinmayananji would say, it not only solves the problem, it dissolves the problem. What do we mean by dissolving the problem? When you solve a problem, there really was a problem and you solved it. When you dissolve a problem, what is meant is, you realize that there was actually no problem at all. Therefore, Vedanta is never tired of giving you the example or the illustration or the drishtanta of dream. In your dream, somebody stole the new motorbike that you had bought and brought home with so much of excitement. In your dream, somebody stole away the motorbike. Now, the solution to that problem would have been that person is caught and your motorbike comes back home, for it was really stolen. But if you wake up from the dream and in your anxiety you go out of the house or out of your room to see whether the motorbike is in place, it is very much in place. Nobody took it away. Then we say, this waking up from the dream dissolved the problem. All right, all these illustrations and examples are interesting, But can it ever happen in our case? Can we really dissolve all our problems? The Vedanta emphatically says yes. It's a great awakening. It's a great waking up, not from dream, but from waking state, because this waking state, from a higher point of view, is also a dream. It's also called the erasure of the ego. This is quite a bit of metaphysics, but it is solid real. One of the things that we must again and again understand is a lot, in fact, all our problems are anchored in our mind, in our thoughts, in our notions of who we are, in our attachments, in our perceptions. That's why we call it similar to a dream. Thought processes make a number of issues into huge problems, while the illumination that the Vedanta study brings to us makes all those not true. They are not true. Ordinarily, in motivational workshops, it is said, turn every problem into an opportunity. That's wonderful. That's a positive outlook. Turn a problem into an opportunity. It is said that somebody found there was very tough competition in a certain market space. When she also produced the same goods, very soon she found there were already many who were producing those goods, those products, and she could not get customers. In business language, it is called the bloody red waters of competition. Already there are so many sharks playing in that field, and they are eating up the fish and other food for them, and so much of blood. The water in that part of the sea has gone red. I'm presently reading again. I read a few pages and left long back, but picked it up again. There is a whole book, Blue Ocean Strategy, as applicable to business, but I read it out of some general interest because the principles apply everywhere. Blue Ocean Strategy. What is Blue Ocean Strategy? Don't be in the bloody red water area of the ocean. Go to a different area of the ocean. Ocean is very huge, very large. Go to another area where there is nobody who has entered that field. Come out with a very new product. Come out with something which actually people need, which actually people will value, but nobody has been selling it yet. Nobody has been making it yet. This doesn't have to relate to only business products. Even in knowledge, even in music, even in dance, even in art, even in food, in everything. If you can give something which will actually be useful to people, people will enjoy it, and it's totally a new product where you need to put in some creativity, then you are pioneer in that field. That's called blue water strategy, blue ocean strategy. Coming back, ordinarily we talk about moving from the red water area of an ocean to the blue water area, but in the Vedanta, it's way above. In the Vedanta, where we already said, we don't go to another area on the same plane of the problem, we go to a higher level. Therefore, Maharshi Ramana all the time asked his visitors, find out who has the problem. Well, I have the problem. Who am I? Who am I? So my organization also is named the Flame of Who Am I? That's a very fundamental question. When the Buddha, Prince Siddhartha, pursued this question, who am I? He went very deep into it and found that the I in him, which was troubled by many problems, which had desires, which had hopes, which had regrets, that I have a regret, I have sorrow, I have a fear, I have, like this we make sentences. That I, which has all these, is actually a myth. The Buddha, when he got enlightened below the Bodhi tree in what is today known as Bodh Gaya in Bihar, some child asked, where are we going? Amma, Appa, where are we going? They were traveling in North India. So father and mother said to the child, we are going to Gaya, Bodh Gaya. And then the child asked, Gaya? Kya Gaya? And then the father smiled and said, yeah, please come with us. At this place, Bodh Gaya, Siddhartha ka Gyan Gaya. His ignorance had left him. Gaya in Hindi means gone. Went. What went? His fundamental spiritual ignorance went, vanished. Therefore, this approach is called putting the axe to the base. Mule kutaraha, as we put it in Sanskrit. Putting the axe to its base. To the base of a tree in the illustration. We are not advocating cutting trees, but in the illustration of cutting a tree, don't just cut a branch here or a shoot there. Put the axe to the very base of the tree and remove the tree. Our worldly existence and literally all our problems are like a tree. And the base of the tree is to redefine ourselves, rediscover ourselves, which involves eradicating, uprooting our present idea of who we are. Vedanta successfully does it. We have to walk with Vedanta. We have to stay with Vedanta. We must not do just lip service to Vedanta. Vedanta is not meant for just knowing a few concepts and then just talking about it everywhere for fame, name, or for showing ourselves to be spiritual, mature, advanced, evolved, and blah blah. Vedanta is for internalizing the vision of the rishis. That is reflected here in this line. Aham akashavat sarvam bahir antargataha. As the body, I can't say I am everywhere, but I am not the body. I am awareness, and as awareness, or to put it more explicitly or with a little detail, I am existence awareness. Sat, Sat and Chit. As Sat and Chit, I am outside too, inside too. And as Sat and Chit, I never fell, I never rose, I never suffered, I never enjoyed with an external object. I am enjoying in my true nature, that's a different matter. Bahirantargataha achyutaha. Chutaha means fallen. Achyutaha, not fallen. Sada sarva samashuddhaha. Sada means all the time, Sama. I'm the same. Its most powerful counseling is what Vedanta is about. You are ever the same. You never fell. You never got injured. You never were hurt. Question your hurt. Question your disappointments. Question your loneliness. Question your notions that you lagged behind and everybody went ahead. Question your idea that I am no good. I am a misfit in this society. I made some crucial mistakes. Now it's too late. Oh my, etc. Question, go to the very root of that thought process. In that thought process, there is a certain fundamental error of taking ourselves to be this personality. And Vedanta dismisses. Vedanta eliminates that basic error. Adi Shankaracharya uses the word prahana. Asya anarthasya prahanaya sarve vedantaha arabhyante. He says at the end of a celebrated portion of his commentary on Brahma Sutras, and that small portion at the beginning of his long commentary on the 555 Brahma Sutras is called Adhyasa Bhashya. There is a superimposition, Adhyasa. Superimposition means there is a certain imposing what I am not on what I really am. I really am the ever free, pure self, but this idea of I am this body, and my mother said to me, do some exercises, get tall, later it will be too late. But at the age of 11 or 12, when my mother said it to me, I ignored, and now I suffer. I am so short. In my office, everybody else is 5'8", 5'10". I am only 4'11". Oh, I should have listened to my mother's advice, somebody says. Whether you listened to your mother or did not listen, all that is a different story. You are thinking that you are 4 feet 11 inches tall. You are this body, full stop. You are nothing beyond that. Your obsession with being this body and day and night regretting why you did not do certain exercises of some pull-ups or something. If you had done it when you were 12 or 13, you would have been, if not as tall as these other guys, you would have been at least 5'1" or 5'2", above 5 feet. But 4'11" is such a shame, and all that you are thinking. That's what I call thought process. Somebody is sad, one is not tall. Somebody else is sad, his English is not good. Third person is sad, she had not studied Sanskrit. What a handicap. Somebody else says, I should have lived in Europe. Living in Asia, I will never be happy. False, 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 false. Your happiness doesn't depend upon how tall the body is, in which continent you live, what language you know or what language you do not know. All of them are irrelevant. This worldly existence in one summary statement is giving importance to what doesn't deserve any importance. Vedanta gives importance to what truly deserves importance, and that is self-knowledge. Wake up to true self. Sada sarva samaha, shuddhaha, pure, clean, nissangaha, nirmalaha, achalaha. All these are actually a certain understanding where you arrive thanks to proper Vedanta study, proper guidance from able teachers who do not simply play with words, who actually notice where you are stuck and help you get out of that false concept. Summary statement, summary words, nissangaha. You complain of attachments. Actually, in your true nature, you have no attachments at all. These attachments of which you complain, you sadly say, yeah, I know, I love Vedanta, but at this point of life, I have so many attachments. What attachments? Who has attachment? I have. In spite of my scholarship, in spite of knowing English and Sanskrit and Hindi and Marathi, and yet another European language, I know some French also. But with all these, somebody says, not me, I don't know French, but somebody says, I know French and English, Marathi and Hindi and Sanskrit, and yet I am lagging behind because of my attachments. Oh dear, that is true on a certain level, but if you contemplate on Vedanta, study Vedanta carefully, something basic happens in you, change. You look at that entity which is supposed to be attached as a dream figure. You actually are not attached. Nissangaha, nirmalaha, achalaha. That is meditation. Meditation is not going over such wonderful Vedanta ideas without understanding them. Sorry. Meditation is, first of all, understanding what Vedanta is saying, and then staying in that understanding, staying in that outlook. Nitya Shuddha Vimuktaikam Akhandanandamadvayam Satyam Jnanamanantam Yat Param Brahma Ahameva Tat. One shloka like this is enough for being steadily engaged with that higher outlook. There is a liberating outlook, and there are millions of binding outlooks. I am short, I am poor, I lack courage, I am very timid, or I am too aggressive, I am not very distracted, I am so many ideas of I am this way, I am that way. Some regarded as good, enviable, some other regarded as bad, pitiable. All of them are actually not true. I am Nitya Shuddha, ever pure, Vimukta, ever liberated, Ekam. I am one without a second. I am the one truth in all that is seen, heard, known. I am the pure self of Tom, Dick, and Harry. I am the one spiritual essence in all living beings. All these are not play of words, they have tremendous and total truth in them. Nitya Shuddham, Vimuktam, Ekam, Akhandam, Anandam, Advayam, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. I am existence. I am pure consciousness, Jnanam. Anantam, I am limitless. Because falsity, ignorance, and sorrow, all of them belong to the opposite of Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Asatyam, Ajnanam, and Dukkham. All of them belong to the illusory I. We talk about the self, ordinary self, conditioned self, when we talk about the pure self. Paul Brunton was a writer from the United Kingdom. In the first half of the last century, he traveled in India and he came across Ramana Maharshi, observed the sage very carefully, and picked up a few of the Maharshi's teachings, and then wrote a couple of books. A Search in Secret India, one of his very famous books. There he describes Maharshi Ramana's personality, probably not mentioning the name of the sage. I have not read the whole book, but some portions long back I have read. I don't remember how, but it's quoted all the time. Paul Brunton wrote about Maharshi, probably talking about a certain spiritually evolved person whom we met during his tours in India. The book was A Search in Secret India. He wrote one or two other books, A Search in Secret Egypt and so on. And then there was another book by him to which I want to make a reference. The Wisdom of the Over Self. He did not call it the pure self. There is the self in us. What do we mean by the self in us? There is the self which gets hurt. There is the self, the sense of I, which gets insecure. There is the sense of I, which says, oh, I'm not getting sleep. Oh, how I wish I got sleep. Oh, I feel so lonely. Oh, I. That is the well-known self, which is, according to Vedanta, not true. When Vedanta talks about a certain pure self, Paul Brunton chose to call that pure self, he coined his own word, over self. Above the known self, there is the over self. Over is above, something above this. And a whole book. I remember long back I heard some pages, not the whole book, but maybe a couple of chapters or maybe more than that. The Wisdom of the Over Self by Paul Brunton. So, the ordinary, usual, known self is asatyam, ajnanam, dukkham. Whereas this is satyam, jnanam, anantam, anandam. Anandam, anantam. Yat param brahma, whatever the Upanishads call Parabrahma, the Supreme Brahman, aham evata. I am that only. I am that. I am that. These are to be meditated on. In the context of devotion, you can't call yourself a devotee when actually you don't sit down, you don't, during the day, during your hours, day or night, you don't think of God at all, but you say, I'm a devotee. What devotee are you? Do you think of God all the time? Or at least quite a lot of time? Do you do namasmarana? Do you do japa? Do you genuinely leave aside the chants and the stotras and the bhajans and the hymns and the compositions and the rituals? Leave aside all of them. When you are into some difficulty, do you really ask God for help? Or is it very superficial? Oh God, now what will happen? Superficial. Seriously, inside you, you are looking whether there is some rich man who can help you, whether some politician can help you, whether somebody would come. Your eyes are upon people, eyes are upon mundane things. But in your mouth, in your words, you say, God, oh God, God may help and so on. God knows you are just saying God, but your mind is not in God. That's bhakti. That's the context of devotion. Likewise, in jnana, on this path of wisdom, if you are a true Vedantin, how often, if not all the time, you try to bring your mind to the pure self, or as Paul Brunton called it, the over self, about which you have gained a certain clarity. Stay with the pure self. Tad Brahma Ahameva. Now the last verse for this session is a beautiful, elevating, uplifting verse, which says, you know what? If you study the Vedanta well and understand, then meditate on that understanding, stay in that understanding, then that acts like a medicine. The Sanskrit word for medicine is rasāyanam. Aushadam elsewhere, but here the word used is rasāyanam. The Sanskrit word for disease is roga. Roga is disease. Aroga is good health. Aroga and its abstract noun is arogyam. So the 37th verse says, Evam nirantarabhyasta brahmaivasmiti vasana haratya vidya vikshepan rogan iva rasayanam. Evam, in this manner, because this guidance is being given starting with, you can say 30 or you can say 31, count from 31, let us say. 31 to 36, 6 verses dealt with meditation. And therefore the 37th verse says, Evam, in this manner, in this way, if there is nirantara abhyasa, without interruption, stay strongly, stay firm with this contemplation, with this outlook. You are the pure self, nothing can happen to you. Abhyasta is an adjective that goes with vasana. If this vasana, here vasana is used in the sense of a very desirable, healthy, good sanskara. For lives and lives you thought of yourself as the body, that was also a sanskara which created all the problems for you. That was also a vasana, deha vasana, loka vasana. Now, Vedanta classes have given you a new vasana, a new tendency to think of yourself as awareness. Who am I? I am pure awareness. I am not this body. I am pure awareness. I am not this personality. I am not the one whom people praise. They don't know who I am. They can't see who I am. Nor am I the one whom other day people criticized, insulted. I am not an object for praise or insult. I am not somebody who can be the target for anybody to do something. Because I am the light of consciousness inside them too. So this thinking is a vasana. This thinking is a sanskara. Brahma eva ahamasmi na kinchidanyat. Brahma eva asmiti vasana yadi nirantaram abhyasta. Abhyasaha kritaha chet. What does it do then? Bharati avidya vikshepa. It removes, it takes away numerous vikshepa, numerous distractions you and I suffered from in our ignorance. Avidya is ignorance. Avidya vikshepa is avidya krita vikshepa. Since we didn't know our true nature, since we mistook ourselves to be this body, We had so many thoughts about how to gain weight, how to lose weight, how to look smarter, how to dress better, how to be impressive, how to, so many how to's came. They're all vikshepas. That doesn't mean Vedanta asks you to be not at all well dressed, go around the world, go around the town with some shabby dress. Anybody comes close to you, get such smoke or such foul smell. Oh, they hold their nose. Who is this? Wearing some clothes which seem to be not washed for last 7 days. Don't say, I'm not the body, therefore I don't care what I wear. Shiva Shiva, don't do such foolish things. No, you are not the body, but let the body, let your dress, let your ways, let your language, let your manners be presentable, be pleasing, be, at least, let them not be offensive. Let them not be generating annoyance, irritation in others. While in Rome, do as Romans do, wear some decent dress, not to impress people, but you must not cause some kind of disgust in them. So, avidya vikshepa, our attachment to the body goes, but we deal with the body, we handle the body responsibly. We are aware how certain minimum sense of civility is required. So, whatever obsession with the body, decorating the body, trying to impress people, looking at ourselves in the mirror again and again, don't I look so nice, and so on. They are all avidya vikshepa. Dharati avidya vikshepa. This meditation can remove all those undesirable attachments and obsessions and possessiveness and all those undesirable emotions and sentiments. How does it do it? It does just as rasāyanam rogan yatha harati, harati rogan rasāyanam, harati vikshepan, iyam vasana. Iyam vasana, ayam sanskaraha, idam jnanam, idam dhyanam. This meditation cleanses you, like antibiotics to drive away the bacteria. Various forms of medicine remove factors which were causing fever or cough or breathlessness. Those causes are removed by right medicine. Likewise, Vedanta study spontaneously emerging or merging or evolving into meditation takes away spiritual ignorance and all sorts of egoistic behavior arising from spiritual ignorance. Rogani varasayanam brahmabhyasaha avidya vikshepan harati. With this 6 verses of meditation, one summarizing it or praising the reward of it later, and one before them, namely 30 itself, laying the foundation for meditation. In that sense, you can say it's a set of 8. Call it set of 8, call it set of 6, because the text doesn't mark atadhyanam uchyate, atadhyana prakaraha varnyate. There is nothing like that said here. The text is a steady flow of 68 verses with no subtitles, with no subtopics, with no explanatory titles in between. But we can see that 31 to 36 are the main body of the meditation. 30 prepares the ground for that, and 37 says this meditation can free you. Om Namah Paramarashibhyo Namah Paramarashibhya.